Week 6, day 3. Now we're getting into some really good stuff. If you've done the work, you've noticed it's piled on and piled on. Today is so very important. Read with me. And by the way, love the graphics. Today I want you to mend the hems of your life. What does that mean? It's time to clean up any emotional baggage and messes that may be stopping you. And what I'd like you to do is to mend some of your relationships as well. I want you to right now, grab your pen. I want you to list 3 people who relationships that you have could use a little mending. Who's out there? Who have you had something with that's still kind of festering? Is it a family member? Somebody very stubborn over something silly that happened and you kind of hold that grudge? You no longer need that energy. If you've done the work with me, you realize that that's useless. You can forgive them. You can forget. You can come to understand a very profound principle. I would write this one down. Everybody does the very best they can at all times. A whole bunch of you just went, whoa, wait a second. I liked all of this program until just now. Told you it was a big day. I'm going to say it one more time. Everybody does their very best at all times. Now that means that the bum that you see on the street who doesn't have a job with a bottle of alcohol, today that is the very best that he can do. Doesn't mean he could do better tomorrow. You could fix him, you could do all, but today that's the very best that he's doing. Your mom. Maybe your mom wasn't perfect. Maybe she did all kinds of things. Go, man, oh, I should just forgive her. Well, no. You don't need to forgive her. Because under those circumstances, at that time, listen to me, she was doing the very best that she could at that time. May not have looked like the very best to you. How does this show up in your life right now? Is there somebody who's doing terrible things to you and you're still in a relationship? If that's the very best they can do me a favor. Don't try to change them. That's not your job. Leave. Like on Facebook, delete them. Because that's the very best that they can do, or they would be doing better. That's how people show up. You may not buy into this principle. It's a pretty heady principle. But when you come to understand it, for me personally, you no longer need to forgive people. There's nothing to forgive. That's the best they could do. You choose to stay there with them or leave. Very interesting, isn't it? But the people who you have relationships that are broken with, it hurts somewhere. You need to fix those. And by fixing them, it could be confronting them, could be letting them go forever, could be just not thinking about it. You know, the closet of your mind, the closet of your being, it only has so much room. Ever see a closet where somebody's jammed so many clothes and so many hangers and so many shoes? You open it, how can you find anything? When you jam your brain and your emotional spirit with all that old, icky stuff, there's no room for something wonderful. Take it out and say, you know what? I have to let that person go. I have to find that person and fix that. I have to just mend the clothes in my closet and make them all whole. You know, I don't know if you have heard of a principle called feng shui. It's a Chinese principle about how objects function in a space. Ever walk into a cluttered house and you feel kind of goofy, or it's like, oh wow, there's stuff everywhere? Ever walk into a well-designed space and go, wow, there's a freedom, there's an energy? You need that energy space. So, I've made space for 3 people. Maybe there's more. But let's start with 3, okay? I think that's a really, really important step. Now, there's a program called 12-Step. Alcoholics, overeaters. I had the most wonderful thing happen to me when I was in my 20s. My roommate was an alcoholic. I watched him suffer terribly. And he took me to a meeting one day. Now, I don't drink. And I was like, oh, it's not going to apply to me. I don't drink. And I went to this meeting. And it's about 12 steps. And one of those steps is forgiveness and really mending relationships in your life. But as I listened to a lot of these people who had what I thought was an addiction that I had nothing to do with speak, they spoke these truths that I'd never heard before about the pain that they were going through. Well, my pain didn't have to do with alcohol. My pain had to do with food. Years later, I went to Overeaters Anonymous. Okay, that related a little better. But I discovered that there are steps to healing. This step, this mending, imagine, why would you wear a shirt that's got a hole in it? You wouldn't. You'd fix it. Why would you live your life with relationships that are broken and have that energy kind of hanging out there? You, and only you, have the opportunity to fix it. I challenge you today to write those 3 names down and to do something about it. Trust me, if you do it, you'll be so proud of yourself. Things change when you take that kind of action. Again, how do I know? I've watched people do it. I've watched what happened. And I am so excited to hear the stories of your life. Go for it.